Welcome to the series on Teens and Youth section. I am Kriya Menon, Faculty of Art of Living. This particular section is exclusive for young adults, mainly because they know everything, they have the knowledge, but when it comes to action, they are not able to achieve what they are supposed to achieve. So they either get into an emotional, emotional obligations, or they don't know how to decide something in life, or they become very sensitive. So as a teacher of, Art of Living, I've been handling many youths, and the only question they ask me is, do we have a solution for this? So I would tell them, yes, we do have a solution, and this solution is an age-old solution. So here we are introducing an entirely new section, and this particular book that we have taken is Bhagavad Gita. We have all the solutions in Bhagavad Gita, a book for humanity, an uplifting of humanity at every level. With us, we have Smt Bindu M Ganesh of Living. For the last 12 years, she's a practitioner, and she is with the Chinmaya Mission for learning Bhagavad Gita. She also teaches Gita, and one beautiful thing about her, which I have to mention, is she practices it. She's done a lot of practical knowledge, and she has succeeded in that. So that is the gist. Knowing a knowledge is different from applying and living the knowledge. So she has applied. She's got 2 teenage children. She's got a family. So here we are welcoming Binduji with us for this Bhagavad Gita section. Binduji, welcome to the show. Very happy to have you with us.
Namaste. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev, Binduji. Jai Gurudev. Binduji, to start with, can you describe what exactly is Bhagavad Gita and the importance of Bhagavad Gita? Why there are so many books, right? Why people refer Bhagavad Gita and not any other books? Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita is an ancient scripture which deals with the philosophy of it. So basically, it is one text where it directly comes in touch with the human experiences and how you live, how you can live a fuller and contented life on this planet by knowing oneself. This is a text which is very reflective in nature. And while learning Gita, what I noticed was that it is very different from other texts in the sense that it is dealing directly with one's mind, one's emotions, one's feelings, and then how to transform your negative emotions or negative feelings and everything into positivity. Okay, so because this knowledge had been there for the past, I would say 5,200 years or so, because the war happened in Kurukshetra in the time of Mahabharata, when the story was happening. And during that time, the war, all the wars and so many battles have been going on. But this one particular battleground where Arjuna, the main hero of the Kurukshetra war, he is confronted with a particular situation where he has to, although he is in the war and he has agreed to do the war and go forward with the battle, once he comes to the forefront and is seeing the real scenario of the war front, then suddenly his mind is coming into some kind of filled with negativity, and he is going into a negative ride of emotions. And this aspect, when you notice these type of emotions or feelings do come in our lives also. And this ancient method of teaching where Lord Krishna is always there, had been there with Arjuna as a mentor, as a friend, as a philosopher in his life. Even then, Arjuna coming and standing in front of the war, knowing that he has to he agreed to do this war, and he has come out with all the valor in him and that pride in him, and that that I am a kshatriya who has to go for this war, and he has come out this way. But once confronted with the real thing in life, when we should also notice that he had won so many battles and so many other wars in his lifetime. It is not that the first time he is going into this war. In fact, he is coming at a very later stage in this war, almost towards the end of that Mahabharata story and all is happening. This was the final war which is being done between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. Okay, they are the supposed to be the heroes in the Mahabharata story, the Pandavas and the Kauravas. The Pandavas actually represent the positive characteristics in a human life, and the Kauravas represent the negative characteristics in a human life. Okay, so Pandavas are very less in number, like this Pandavas itself, we see that it is only 5 people, okay, and the Kauravas are hundreds of them, okay, and along with that they have their guru, they have their teacher to support them, and all these, when you look at it, when we translate this into our life, if we notice that the positivity is so less, when we translate this and see in life, and the positivity is so less, and the negativity is so high, in such a place where Arjuna is then coming, and although he had been so positive about all all the guidance being given by Krishna till that time, suddenly he is confronted by all these negative emotions and feelings, and completely drawn by that, and then he suddenly even decides not to do the war. Okay, he comes to such a situation. So this is where Lord Krishna is then the first chapter in Bhagavad Gita is dealing with this lamentations of Arjuna. That is, the first chapter is known as Arjuna Vishada Yoga, which means Arjuna is so much in the Vishada. Vishada means so much of despondency, so much of anxiety, so much of fear. Not fear about himself, but fear about the future. Okay, and all these kind of emotions completely bringing him down and shattering him and making him think that I don't want to do this war. Okay, so this is where Krishna is in the second chapter. Krishna beautifully enters into the arena and giving him suggestions and solutions to uplift his mind, and how to go about this war and why he should be doing this war, and all these things are beautifully explained by Krishna to Arjuna. And then by the end of the second chapter, Arjuna realizes that whatever he had been thinking or doing had been foolishness, and because he got this knowledge from Krishna fully. Of course, Bhagavad Gita is a text of 18 chapters, and it comes in the almost middle part of Mahabharata, which is the epic, which is the ancient epic, and this 18 chapters, which is very comprising only about the philosophy of life, how you have to live your life, and why you are here on this planet, what is the purpose of your life, everything is explained so beautifully in Bhagavad Gita. So perhaps we know a lot of things outside this world, which has given us the schooling, the college education, the whatever has been given to us, that may be helping us in this material world. Okay, I would say that only to a certain extent, not to the full extent. And Bhagavad Gita comes in this particular space where if you take that also into your life, then you would know how to take your life forward during turbulent times, during your whatever negative things are coming around you. And in between all of this, how you can be like an Arjuna, fight the battle of life, and then come out of it positively with the great victory. And this is being beautifully done step by step by Lord Krishna, by being that mentor and guide for Arjuna. So this is what has made the text so beautiful and for time immemorial, I would say. Because this you might have seen that it is actually in certain institutions, it is also called personality development. As Bhagavad Gita as a text is a personality development text. Even those kind of things I have seen in some institutions. And this has to actually go into the mind of youth, because they are the builders of the next generation. And if the present youth is into so much of commotion, despondency, anxiety, depression, anger, how are they going to build the next generation, in a positive way? When you yourself are not happy with your life, how can you provide happiness to the people around you? This is the question which needs to be addressed and which needs to be answered, because happiness comes from within. And Bhagavad Gita especially gives these points very beautifully in that how one can keep oneself happy, and why that happiness will translate into action. That kind of happiness, that kind of knowledge from ancient scripture, which is, we can also consider Bhagavad Gita as the highest Vedanta scripture, okay, which is, presently like it is compared to all the crux of Vedanta or crux of Upanishads, okay, everything put together. And but at the same time, while going through Bhagavad Gita, I also noticed that we can learn about the mind, the emotions and feelings also beautifully by the way Lord Krishna has explained. So at the layman level also, it is available for you. And if you want to learn it as a deep scriptural study, knowing about the Vedanta or Advaita philosophy and what not, then also this text will help you. So it is both ways. That is what has made Bhagavad Gita so enlightening for all the generations. So what I feel is that the next generation, the upcoming generation, should certainly take up the step to study Gita and inculcate in their life so that they lived an enriching, positive, fulfilling life.
If you say Binduji, Lord Krishna was a very close friend of Arjuna. So he had so much of faith in his friend, and Lord Krishna was there to listen to him, which is very important I think every teenager needs somebody to listen to them, which is lacking in this generation, isn't it not? So can you here illustrate on how good a friend was Lord Krishna to Arjuna, and how it can be a message for the teenagers and the youths, for anybody, in fact, I would say, how do we choose a friend? Because now in this generation, Binduji, what we are seeing is we all have friends, but we really don't know who is what. And because of that, we are not able to discriminate. And because we are not able to discriminate, the same friend can also turn back. And that moment, we really don't know how to handle that situation. So can you illustrate and brief on how good a friend is, and how can Lord Krishna set an example to the upcoming generation, or to any human being, as a good friend?
Yeah, this is a valid question for the for the teens and youngsters who are looking forward to such questions to be answered. See, we will be having lots of friends around us. They come in different forms, different colors, different origin. Then what happens is that you go into the and today's youngsters are so much into friendship, and they want to move around and they want to socialize, they want to enjoy their life, and this is what we observe in life. There is nothing wrong in that, because the uh, generation demands that, or it is the kind of life, it has become like that. But at the same time, we should also understand that unless one becomes one's own good friend, he cannot be the best friend of another person. That is the first lesson one has to learn in life. Okay, unless you become a friend for yourself, that is, see, the mind, it is all mind's play. This is what we should understand. It is all, everything revolving around us, including us, it is all mind's play. So if the mind is not your friend, and if that mind is going to agitate you and create problem for you and bring out the negative, then it will naturally, it will translate into your action, and that is how you become negative in nature, and that is how you might influence badly a person, and become a problem for yourself and for others. So this is where first we should understand that each youngster should have that inner thing. That is, that they should understand that there is an inner faculty which is working with us. Everything don't look out and out and out only in the outside materialistic world. There is something, an inner faculty which is working with us, which can transform our life into a blossomed flower, where you become a best friend of yourself, and you are there to uplift others also. Isn't that so beautiful? So this is how you should see life. How can I transform myself to a state where I can be a friend for others? Let me be the best friend for others. Here, like, not the other way, that why my friends, why whichever friend I am choosing is cheating me, or or backbiting me, and after some time they are behaving like this or behaving like that. We should understand that everybody has their own nature. Everybody is unique in this planet. Everybody is unique. So you can't compare yourself with another person, because they have come up with a different kind of tendencies and impressions and whatever on their mind, and they have their own mind play happening inside them, and you too have your own mind play happening inside you. So when these two come into touch and contact, things can happen in a positive way or negative way. But there you should understand that that is where the role of a mentor, or a higher power, like a guru power, or something like that will help you, that kind of, because even in Bhagavad Gita also, even though Krishna had been there full time guiding Arjuna and, mentor, being a mentor and side by side friend, positive friend, even though he was there in this war, in the beginning, Arjuna, as if not taking much, giving much attention to Krishna's all the dealings with him. He is not giving much attention to that. He doesn't even remember the dealings of Krishna with him. And he goes and see the war front, and then he suddenly getting this jittery with his mind and coming down. Although he had this friend all the time in his life, for years together. And so then when Krishna starts by saying things to him regarding how to uplift himself to wage the war, then he realizes that, oh, there is something in Krishna which is bringing out some kind of uplifting inside me. So then he says, Krishna, okay, I think I should take the place of a disciple, and you be my guru, and then guide me in this process. So there beautifully Arjuna brings down his, that egoistic attitude of I know it all, to a place where he is telling Krishna, okay, Krishna, please guide me. You had been there all through my life, but in this particular situation, I don't know why I behave like this, So there, this someone like an uplifting personality, where who is positive, who has seen more life, and who is more more positive in life, and who knows more about life. That person can give you a guidance for life. And there, where even the teens and youngsters, they should also take care that a friend who is of their age can be or cannot be that kind of support, in their life. So they might have to approach somebody who is could be their parents, whom, if they are trustworthy enough, if they feel from inside that they are trustworthy enough, to confide in them and ask for their guidance, or for some other faculty, or through some organization, or there are now various institutions and organizations which are catering to the need of this teens and youngsters, because so many organizations, institutions, they are really bothered about the upcoming generation, because they are the builders of the our nation, so, and any nation for that matter. The upcoming generation has to then go through some kind of self study, reflective study, and that only can help them move forward in a better way. And the being a friend to yourself can uplift yourself and uplift others also. So that is the way to live your life. Now, that I am thinking that I am so weak, I am so emotional, I am so down, I am so negative. This is taking yourself through down the lane, down the drain, which is not helping you in any way. So such scriptural studies like Bhagavad Gita will give you that insight, how to live your life. And this self-reflection is very, very important in a generation where you are only out there with the materialistic world, running the rat race and going mad with hither and thither, and thinking only about success. and competition, arrogance, meeting so many demands and expectations of others. So these all can play definitely a havoc on your mind, because you are bombarded with so many negativity around you. Then you should take the help of some real guide like Bhagavad Gita, or have a mentor in your life, or have a guru like personality in your life. And just having a guru or having a mentor is not enough. Your discussion with them is very, very important. And taking one's own self and and translating that into action can really help yourself and people around you.
In classmates, between colleagues, what is happening at this being is they have a lot of trust, they have a lot of faith, but they don't know how to be a good friend to each other, isn't it not? So can you, according to the scriptures and according to Gita, can you give us any guidance on how to be a good friend for each other? Like for you and me, how are we going to be a good friend? It is the same. Yeah.
Yes. See, in the Bhagavad Gita, only it doesn't say how you can be a friend, or how you. It doesn't deal that way. It is directly dealing with one's own mind, emotions, feelings, and things like that. And what Bhagavad Gita says, that when you attend to that, you will transform as a person. And because your transformation has brought your mind to a level on a higher pedestal, you naturally become a good friend to others. It is so simple. Likewise, that is why it should be a group study. I would say that a Bhagavad Gita should be a group study. It is not just for one person. How many of our youth, they can come together and collectively learn Bhagavad Gita, and then discuss whatever is given in that, and how they can translate that into action. And then I think that can bring a huge change in the mindset of youngsters, where, because the group energy has to be raised. It is not one particular individual. The group energy has to be raised. So that is where the learning should be in groups, like groups. When you study like that, and when you reflect on that, because Bhagavad Gita deals a lot with one's personality. Why you are acting in a certain way, why you are behaving in a certain way. It all explained beautifully in Bhagavad Gita. So what is the reason why you feel negative or low with an emotion, and how you can transcend all this. How you can transcend all this is also described in Gita. That is why this study should be given, I would say that, at the teenager level, where you are in a turmoil with your emotions, with your feelings, and all the confusion, all the doubt, fear, anxiety. Then you should sit with Gita, a scriptural study like Gita, and understand the value of that knowledge, value of that wisdom. Then you slowly transform yourself into that kind of life where you are uplifting to each other. Not like pulling one's leg and pulling others' leg, and taking your own emotions into others, and their emotions into yours. So all garbage is happening. If this garbage has to be thrown away, then you have to do a collective study of something to know about oneself. Then only you can bring up a collective consciousness race.
Like if you see a lot of teenagers, especially when they reach that 9, 10, 11, 12, and during those exams times, etc., they really go through a breakdown because they feel they can't handle the subjects. Though they know it intellectually, emotionally they are not able to handle it. How can Bhagavad Gita be a solution for this emotional strengthening? Is there a solution? Yeah.
Of course, Gita gives a solution for all this, because Gita develops the inner strength and confidence in you. Okay, because it gives the knowledge of who you truly are. You know, it is a science of knowing who you truly are. Then that will give you that strength and confidence to deal with any anxiety in life. You know, anxieties will still appear in your life. I would say that it will appear till the last breath of your life. Okay, once we are born, till the last breath of your life, you might be confronted with anxieties or worries or fears of all the kind in your life. But Bhagavad Gita gives that inner confidence and strength to deal with these anxieties. You know, how to taking life in a positive way and having a positive attitude towards whatever you are doing. You know, whatever you do, how can you do it with a positive attitude? Okay, like bringing the unison of your body, mind, emotion, feeling complex together. That is being beautifully described in Gita. You know, so this kind of knowledge will take you to another pedestal in life, where right now you are in a if you are in that negative stage, whatever anybody says or whatever they do for you or whatever you are trying to help yourself, there is only a particular extent where you can raise. After that, again, the same incidents or something, some grief will happen, some again you are down. Okay, so this going up and down with your emotions, feelings, anxiety, fears doesn't serve any purpose in your life. And then you will start regretting whatever your actions. Then you will go through a guilt ride. All these kind of things happen with the youth, especially. I have noticed that. And this comes because of the insecurities inside. Because once, only when you address these insecurities in life, you can transcend them. So first, you should understand to address the issue inside you. Then only you can work the ways to transcend that.
Many times, the youths, when they really want, they have a dream, they want to do something really, what do you say, they have an ambition, they have a dream. But when it comes to action, because not like, for example, if you want to become a scientist or if you want to become a CEO of a company or you want to start up something, an entrepreneurship. So the first time when you are doing something, you will definitely, have challenges, you will have failures. But nowadays, what I've seen is the youngsters, the first challenge, if they are not able to make it, it could be even in an entrance test. The next reaction that what I've seen is they drop the dream and they feel, okay, whatever comes to me, let me just move ahead with whatever comes to me rather than pursuing a dream and then not able to achieve. So the events of failures are more prominent in their memory than the challenges, or, what do you say, the challenges, or we have solutions for it. So, how do we address this particular thing when it comes to the real what is the real action, especially for teenagers and for the youths, the moment they finish the college, when they take up the career? So how does Gita become a guide for them in this particular phrase?
Yeah. Yes. See, there is a particular chapter called Karma Yoga in Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So, whatever action you are doing on this planet, with what kind of attitude you are doing it, determines the result of that action. Okay. So, this particular chapter deals with how you are supposed to do any action and how that can yield a particular result in your life. And when you know about such things in life, you will not be wavering with the decisions of, should I do this, should I do that, or shall I go with whatever I had on my mind earlier, or shall I take up a new thing? These kind of, of course, these kind of confusions might arise. But if you know that certain things are happening in your life for certain things to, transform you, or for a lesson for you to learn in life, when you take it that way, then you won't be feeling saddened about certain facts, and then you will try it again and again, or you will go in another way where you passionately also you will find something, probably that which was not meant for you, that might have been thrown away from your life, and whatever has yet to come, probably that will come up in your life which you will passionately follow. So you can't decide that I went by the decision of such and such friend, or I went the decision with my parents, or you can blame people around you like that. That is why my dream didn't come true, or something like that. You can think like that, but probably much better and bigger one is in store for you. How do you know? This is a life journey. It is not a 1 day, 2 day thing. You can. So these kind of things should be learning in your life. Everything which happens in your life should be a learning in your life. So because this getting influenced by others' remarks, and dropping your dream or desire or anything like that, maybe that was also designed in your life, which you never know, and probably later on you will come across something which you will passionately follow. So then at that juncture, you will see, oh, nice that I dropped that thing. Now I have come up with a greater thing in my life, and then you will pursue that with even more passionate, because the earlier one couldn't be your cup of tea. Probably you might have aspired because you saw something on the TV, or something you read, or some other friend of yours pursued in that line and he achieved what he wanted, whatever it is. So this comparison can also bring in the kind of dream which you want to pursue, okay, because of that comparison. And this comparison has become a nasty thing in today's youth. That is what I would say. When you start comparing your life with others, then you are done with your life. Then you are in for a negative turn in your life, no doubt on that. But once you have a goal in your life, a vision about what you want to do, and if you are really think that that is coming from your real inner that being, then you should 100% work towards it. Come what may, proper mentor came in his life, then he pursued whatever he had to do with all the challenges in front of him. So both these ways, Bhagavad Gita throws light in your life. How I should take my life as a journey, as a learning lesson in my life. So, this is how Gita will come as a help.
Right. So, Chechi, so we have started with the first chapter, which is Whirlpool of the Mind. So every month we'll come out with something really interesting, which connects why this particular scripture is important and why we have to learn these scriptures. Taking this as a guide, Binduji will be able to guide us in this. And each and every month we are coming out with something. And this particular series is for in Malayalam and in English. Binduji, how do you like to conclude this series? With the chapter 1 and for a message or a work to be given to them. However you want to conclude, Binduji.
Yeah, see, when Gita starts, the Arjuna is in Vishada Yoga, and that is in the line of despondency, or whatever negativity has brought him to the forefront. And the today's youth should realize that you might also be facing similar, like Arjuna, similar issues in your life. And there is a way out of it, okay, which you should realize. And our Indian culture and tradition has beautiful such scriptural studies and books like Gita, like Upanishad, like self-study books. There are so many there are available. If you want to explore, it is another huge ocean, you know. So taking cue out of all of this, the today's youth should include in their daily life as some study of some scripture. Some scriptural study should be there. Bhagavad Gita being the smallest text, which is easily understandable about the philosophy of life, about your own life, about yourself, about your own emotions, feelings, and directly it shows or it showcases that. So it is better to go through Gita in the initial stages and then go to the higher pedestals of knowledge later on in life also. So let that come as a blessing to the upcoming generation, that Bhagavad Gita and similar texts transform their lives to lead a more fulfilling, positive, and chaos-free mind. Jai Gurudev.
Thank you very much, Binduji. So we are very soon, we'll come out with a Malayalam version of the same chapter for the youths and teens. It's been a pleasure having you with us, Binduji, and thank you very much. Jai Gurudev.